Session. Good morning, everyone. So we'll continue from module 4. We completed module 3, data types and how we can mention data types, and we can mention a return type for the functions, right? And the string, number, enum, array, how we can declare in the TypeScript. You know that. So how to mention the data type also. How to mention the return type of a function, Akhil. How to mention the return type of a function. Function ki return type mention there. Return type, mention the return type for a function. Normally in JavaScript, we don't mention return types. Even for variables also, we don't mention data type. For function, mention the return type, data type. What is the syntax for that? So function parameters key, we need to give as, for example, A colon data type, comma, B colon data type. Function ki return type. After function braces, colon type. So it is like this. Just open this same. You didn't practice it, right? One second. Function. This is the function return type. If you are mentioning this means function data type. If you are mentioning here means it's data type. If it is not returning anything means void. If it is returning object means object. If it is returning number means number. This you need to remember. If you are practicing, then you can remember that.
JavaScript files company. Typescript files
You need to include C, only JavaScript. So this TypeScript will transfer to .js. That .js you can mention. Again, if you are changing means, again you need to rebuild the hello.js.
JavaScript లో కూడా సేమ్ కోడ్ వస్తుంది. TypeScript లో సేమ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ తీసుకున్నామని సేమ్ వేరియబుల్ తీసుకున్నాం.
అవును. సో ఏమవుతుందంటే, if you have 3 TypeScript files, every file is interconnected. Means if you have same variable in another other file also, it will show error. You have only unique variable in, if you have 10 TypeScript files. In 10 TypeScript files, there is only one A or only one person object. But JavaScript will be independent of each other dynamically. So that is how strict TypeScript. But it will comes to classes, it will not happen. Because classes will have own memory reference, which will follow this. Then it might not happen. But if you are writing inside the file, it might happen. Now today we are discussing about oops. So oops.ts. For example, you have a class student, right? You have a class student. Again, you have a class person. In both, you have name of type string. It might be okay. It might be okay because class is an independent of each other. Inside class, you can create an object for that. So you'll get entry point for the class. You can mention that student object dot name, person dot name. So that will be okay. That is one inside another. If you are creating name variable in 2 TypeScript files, then it might conflict. So that is how it will be. So now we'll start with oops. Oops. So we will call as object-oriented programming system or object-oriented principles. So we have it in every high-level programming language, but we don't have it in JavaScript. JavaScript is object-based, which is prototypes, That is nothing but the object reference for that. We cannot reinstate the object for that using new keyword. But TypeScript will have these features like Java, Python, .NET, C Sharp, C++. All will have oops. But in client side, we have TypeScript which will follow the same principle so that we can match the same object with the backend. So while we are sending the data, it is easy if you are having the oops in front end also, so that might match the same logic in front end also. You got it? So Oops will also be helpful. So now oops principles are nothing but 4 along with class and object. We have 6. So normally we have a class. It's a blueprint. It's a blueprint which will have some properties and functions. A property is nothing but a color, height, width, name, roll number. A function is nothing but logic. For example, you want to generate new identification number. I want to create gen new ID. It will take some input, which is prefix, and it will take the next serial number. And type we need to mention that if it is string or this is nothing but the logic. Logic will be derived with the functions. That is one that is members, which we'll call as member function. Again, we have name, mobile number. These are the properties, right? Which is having a variable and we need to store a value inside that. That will be name, ID, etc. Those will become the properties. So that we will call as data members. Data members in order to store that we'll call as variable. So this members will call as member functions. Functions is nothing but a function which is a member of a class. Then we'll call as member functions. And we'll call as data members for all the variables. So that is the class which is consists of this. Again, we need to create an entry point for this class. Then only we can able to access that class. For that, we need to create an object. Now, what is an object? Object is a reference of the class, means an instance of the class. Instance is nothing but a single occurrence of the reference. You can create n number of instances. You can create n number of instances. Now, tell me, I want to create student object with some properties and functions. What you can do? You can create a class student which will have ID, roll number, and auto generation ID, which is starting with prefix T. And what is the next number is 67. So T00, it will auto generate 4 digits and these 2 digits will be added. This is our logic. This we want returning, right? So that is how it's a function. Again, if you want to make the name uppercase, lowercase, again you want to assign some course. Again, I create a function, assign some course and course ID for input, like course assign. Which course you want to assign? For whom? Student ID also, right? So that will have that logic. So all these logics will be returning in the functions. We want to store data in the variables. So this is how in all the works. And in order to access that class, we need to create entry point for that. After this, we'll continue. Okay, till this point, we'll explain and clear it. Class student. We create a student class. Now we have name of type string, roll number. It is also string because it starts with T, combination of numbers and variables, text, alphabets and numericals. The next one is course. Course is of type, course might be or string or course ID. So make course ID as of now. String. You can also mention the course like this. Class create a course, right? Inside the course again, you can mention as course ID string, course name string, duration string. You can mention the same reference here also. Here this course, you can mention this. You got it? You can mention another type as a class, as a custom type. So that also you can mention. If you don't know this type, you can put object also. Or if you don't want that, you can directly put like this. You know, right? Yesterday I discussed this same course ID string and course name string. You can mention also like this. Duration. Again, if you want optional also, here you can mention as an optional, or you can directly mention this as optional. Got it? So that is how we can mention the things. And again, I can create function, create generate ID. What is the prefix? Prefix is a string. It might be T. T is the prefix, right? This is training. Next ID. What is next ID? Next ID I want to give from the database. Next ID will be number, which will be 67. Then I can store it as a roll number. I can generate this dot roll number. See now, functions are in this color, this shape. Variables are in 3-dimension box. So it will be like storing something. So these symbols are so important. So by seeing this symbol, you can see it's a logic. By seeing this box, you can see this is storing something. It's a box variable, right? Not course. It's a roll number equal to prefix plus we have 3 zeros, for example, 3 zeros plus next ID. We can automatically mention. So we can store it. Now you want to access this whole. You got it? You want to access this whole. Means you want to create an object for that. You can create where object or obj equal to new student. You can mention like this, or you can create a where. So that is also fine. So now it's fine. We can create an object, but still we want to set like this, like name equal to Mahindra. Again, O dot generate ID. So we need to send 67. It will send, right? Okay. Prefix also we need to send, right? T. See, in JavaScript, it might not get error if you're sending that. It will get undefined, right? So TypeScript will be strict. So if we want to do this. So again, whatever we have, again, I need to set the course, right? Course equal to, we need to set like this, course ID 1. Next thing is optional. You know this. So we need to mention like this. But these, I don't want these many lines. I can write parameterized constructor. So here we have constructor keyword. Just mention the same. So name as string. As of now, no roll number. It will auto generate by calling the function. So we'll send the course. Course of type what? Course of type course. This is and this is same, right? Anyway, so we can have this. So these both are options. So it will be equivalent. If you are sending this same means it is equivalent to this. That is also fine. So now we can send this here. What is the name of that first one? First one is name, right? It is the constructor which will create an object. This is the constructor with the new keyword. It will create an object. That reference will be stored in O. That will be OB also. Fine. Whatever it may be. First value you need to send as name. That I will say Brahmi. Next value I will send an object. That will be course ID 1. Fine. It will not show any error because these two are optional. Here also these two are optional. If I don't put optional, then it will ask an error here. See, course ID is not associated with the course. It is required. So now you can mention as course name also. React.js or Angular. You can mention this. So we don't need to write extra lines if you are mentioning what? Parameterized constructor, which will ask the parameters. So it will automatically bind them. Right. Again, in the next line, we can create this. Now you can print whatever you want. Console.log o dot ob, right? Ob dot course. So here we use foreign loop for uh, what we do where key in ob, right? Use foreign loop. Just print the same. Okay. We don't know how many keys we have. We have 100 keys. We can't show, right? So just do this. This is the place where you can use foreign loop also now. Just print ob of key, right? It will get the value. Again, we can mention like this. Key plus empty space and put. So key and value will get it. So just run this. How to run this again? TS node directly you can run it without transpiling. It will directly run that. If you want to transpile to JavaScript, use TSC and file name. It will create the oops.js. You might attach to the HTML. TS node oops.ts. It is throwing an error. It is an object of key. Let's mention. So first what we'll do, we'll just print console.log and let's see what is coming. Is in loop is getting the object or not? Course has no initializer. Okay. So basically what is happening here, we taken as the type as course, it will ask as an object. What we will do, we'll put the same. If you want to do that again, you need to put here as new course. You need to put here as new course. You got it? Inside this course, again, you need to send the parameter as a constructor. So this is how we need to nested the constructor. So that is fine. Just put for this. This one will put instead of here, I'll just put this. Not this one, not a value, this one, right? Let's see now. Again, it's saying roll number has no initializer. Okay. So it wants some initializer. Okay, here we are not initializing. This dot name equal to name. Again, this dot. If you are getting that means where we are initializing. So that we need to initialize. Otherwise, it will throw an error. Roll number. We are not getting roll number. Course. Course equal to course. Again, mention the roll number also as some empty. Let's check. Let's check now. So course name has no initializer. So course ID has no initializer and definitely as in the constructor. Just comment it down. We'll use the same. Because that is a class that is asking for the see. Now we are printing the courses. So basically it is getting error. Why? Because it is a class means it should be initialized or it should be using constructor. Otherwise it will throw an error. If you use constructor like this, it might not throw an error. So just create a constructor and that issue might resolve. The same we need to give course ID. If you are not giving constructor, again you should give some empty value at least. Otherwise you need to give the constructor also. So you need to mention like this course ID of string. So that is the rule for the TypeScript classes. You need to initialize empty value or you need to put the constructor. Otherwise it will not be okay. It is not satisfied. It will say it is not initialized. Duration string. Now you need to mention this dot course ID equal to whatever the course ID that is coming. Again this dot course name equal to whatever the course name that is coming. Again this dot duration. Duration is optional. Whatever the duration that is coming. So now it might not get error. See, we got this. It is not getting error now. You should initialize the value here for the class, or you should put the constructor. So it will think you might initialize at some point of time. You might not leave it alone, right? If you are creating it means you are using it somewhere. If you are not using it means it will think it should be initialized. Now, this is okay. For any class, this should be the rule. You should not put alone. You should initialize even with equal to also. You should initialize. Otherwise, it will throw an error. That is the rule. The next point is we are printing the key, right? Just uncomment this now. Key and value we need to print, right? Now you see the importance of for in loop. We might have 1,000 keys. We don't know what is the key. At that time, we can use for in loop. All the keys we can read in the object. Based on key, we'll get the value, object of key. Just mention dot key. Let's see. We might put the same actually. We'll put JSON.stringify. Let's see. It is failing at student here, I think. Course, near course. Roll number, course, roll number. Element implicit as any type because expression of type string can't be used as index of student. Okay, let's see. No index signature with the parameter of string. Just console object. What we'll get? Let's see. Console.log OB. We have student, right? So we can directly mention student dot this one. Okay. Let's put object dot keys. Since it's a class object, it is not accepting a foreign loop. If it is direct object, it might accept. Let's try this. OB dot for each. We are using object dot key, object dot keys, and just to print the same console dot log. We have the key plus again plus value, right? OB of OBJ, not OBJ, OB of key. Let's check this.
Object dot key so we get the key for the object dot value so we get the value.
Yes, we'll get that. For in where value OB console dot log value.
Object dot
Just check for in and for off. For off will works on arrays, I think. For us is arrays. We'll get keys. You can directly put object dot values also. OB dot for each. Console dot log x. From me course ID. Again, this is a nested object. Again, we can mention this as if type of x equal to object double equal to or triple equal to. Double equal to will only check whether it is the type value. If it is triple equal to means it will check both object on that. So we can mention this. So then we can print like this. If it is an object, we need to make it as JSON.stringify if you want to print it. Otherwise, it will print as an object. So if it is an object, we'll mention as JSON.stringify of x. So basically, it's a terminal, so it will automatically show the whole object. If it is in console, it will print as an object. For this, we can mention like this. Since it's a console, right, we can't see the difference. If it is in Google, like console, we can see the difference. Now classes areas start. So now we have the OOPS principles. We'll discuss that. First one, it's an abstraction. Abstraction means a class which is having unimplemented functions or unimplemented methods. So that should be implemented by their upcoming generation. So we have a class which is animal. You got it? We have the animal class. So dog will come. So it will implement the voice. Its voice is oo. Cat will come. Its voice is meow. So they will implement the same way. We have bank. Bank IFSC is different. Number is different. Its prefix is different. For Indian Bank, IDIB. For ICICI, ICICI. Right? HDFC, HDFC. Bank will have a class. IFSC prefix is different. So they will implement their own logic. Auto-generated HDFC, auto-generated account number. So they will be implemented the same. So for this, we have abstract bank account and same abstract animal. So they will implement their own. So this is what abstraction, and they're hiding the internal implementation details. So the children means the upcoming generation class will extend this class. Extending means getting the properties that will call as inheritance, right? That is what abstraction, and extending the properties means taking properties from one person to another person, like parent to child, where you are getting your assets from father. That is also in inheritance. Getting properties means inheritance, right? And protecting the data members and member functions is encapsulation. Protecting the data and member functions. Data members and member functions. Data members means what? Properties, which are variables. Member functions means normal functions. If you are protecting that, if you are putting private, that will call as encapsulation. That is having scopes. Private, only within the class. Only that particular class will be accepted, protected. Inherited class and the current class will be using. If it is public means everyone can access. You got it? That is also encapsulation. We have polymorphism. Poly means many. So same class and different class. We have two classes. We have two functions in the same classes. That is different, right? Means we have many with same name. Means we have in animal class, we have a function which is voice. Again, in dog we have another function which is voice, but this voice will be called if we create object for the animal. Again, if you we have an animal, we have a dog and we have a cat classes. This animal is used by dog. Again, this animal used by cat, extending that features. Here we have the voice function. Here also we have the voice function because we have two functions with same name, but which will call. If you are calling dog, dog will call. If you are calling cat, cat will call. So this is what polymorphism that also will implement, not an issue. First, we'll implement abstraction. Create a class, bank class. And this class, if you want to use in another file, you want to export it. That will call as modules. Then only we can use it. For example, if you are using it, bank. See, it is from here, right? It will be imported from this class. That if you are importing another class, if you want to use it, you want to export it. See that if I don't put export, it might throw error here. There is no export module. So that is what modularization. We want to export it. Then only we can use it. Okay, fine. So in this bank, we have IFSC as string. And we have public. If we put public, then only others people can access. If you put protected, it's fine. If you put protected, it's fine. Inherited people only will access. Now bank account is inherited by ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank. So we can put protected, not an issue. Protected, we'll put gen IFSC. What is the return type of that? It's string, right? And we need to put as abstract, I think. Since it's an abstract class, we need to mention as abstract also here. Then only it will become a abstract class. Means there is unimplemented method. So they will bank accounts create their own IFSC code. Their prefix is different, right? Put prefix as string. Where they will initialize the prefix in constructor level, they can initialize the prefix. You got it? Just give IFSC empty because IFSC is auto generated. Whenever we call in constructor, we will not be giving. That's why we'll put empty. And in constructor, we'll give this constructor prefix. Because while creating the class itself, we need to give prefix. What is the prefix? So this dot prefix equal to prefix. We have a class right now. We have a class and generate IFSC code, even generate mobile number, everything. Mobile number will not be generated anyway in bank. It is already given to us by try. Whenever we are subscribing for Airtel or Jio whatever, we are buying the SIM. So this is the class. Now it should be extended by some other people like HDFC Bank. So this is abstraction, right? And now we need to do inheritance. So now class HDFC Bank, they will extend what? Bank. Since they're extending bank, they want to just use quick fix because it is unimplemented, right? It is unimplemented, means that should be implemented. That should have some function, right? So that should return some string. So now what I do? It's generating IFSC, right? So we have the prefix. So we'll mention that return. Since we should return string, right? So we should mention as return prefix plus 00. What is the next number? For example, based on the pin code, IFSC code might change. And based on pin code and branch, IFSC, what is the next branch? Like branch ID, we can mention. Branch ID is nothing but some number. Here also we can mention. Because that is the declaration, right? So now we need to give the branch ID. So that will be added. Before returning, what we need to do? We need to add this to our IFSC, whatever it may be. This dot IFSC equal to this one. Then we need to send this. You got it? First we stored the IFSC to the current class. Then we are returning that. So means we are implemented this. You got it? So now how we are getting this dot? We are going this because we are extending that. We are extending bank means we'll get all the properties. Since it's not having the implementation, we'll get the implementation. The same way create ICICI Bank. ICICI Bank. That is also extending. Now create objects for all. Where ICICI equal to ICICI Bank of what is the prefix? ICICI. Here you need to have constructor, otherwise you will not get it, right? So now I will tell you how this is the important concept. We'll get what? Prefix, right? Prefix as a string. So constructor must be super, means it is having constructor, right? It is having constructor. Who will call from here to there? Means if you are calling this ICICI Bank, means this constructor will only call, right? But it is extending from which class? Bank class. Bank class will also have constructor, right? That will call using super keyword. Then only it will accept, otherwise it will not accept. You got it? Now, yes, we need to include new, right? So we can new class. Now this is the constructor, you know, where we are attaching the prefix. We are attaching the prefix here, right? Here only we're attached because this is the property of that. That we're extending means we'll get it here. That you know. We'll get that property using this keyword again. But You need to call the constructor of the parent class. This one means you need to put the super here. Then it will call the super class constructor. Here also the same. Here also the same. The same again you can create. HDFC Bank. HDFC. Just give HDFC. And immediately I will generate the IFSC code. Okay. ICICI dot. We are not getting this. Is it protected? Just give public. Let's see. It is not visible basically. Generate IFSC. What is the current, whatever it may be, just give 57. Again, HDFC dot generate IFSC. Gen IFSC, right? Like 30. Now you just print the objects. What we have, you can see. ICICI object and also HDFC objects. Just check now.
That's
Yes. Yes. Class abs.ts. See, we have this prefix and defix. You got it? How it is working. So now, where is the abstraction here? Can you tell me? So this is abstraction and this is the abstract class. There we extend it to the banks so that we can implement that. And encapsulation public or private or protected. These are encapsulations. So now I want to mention this as private because if you create an object, you might change it, right? You should not change that. We'll put private here. Now you will not understand why you will put private because we want to use it. You want to use it. So now you cannot able to use that. You got it right. You need to mention some methods for that, setter and getters. Those are public methods. Now I will create setter and getter here. Public set IFSC. You got it? IFSC as a string. This dot IFSC equal to IFSC. Again, you need to get that right. Public get IFSC. So that is for security purpose. Okay, na? So what is the return type of this get IFSC string, right? We need to mention string. Set IFSC, we no need to return anything. So just put void. Now you get written as this dot IFSC. With that, we can implement. Again, the same for prefix also. Set prefix and get prefix. Set prefix. Here it is prefix. Get prefix. You got it? The same way we need to use here set IFSC of, we need to send this. You got it? Again, this prefix also we need to get as this dot get prefix. Plus we can add it. Here also you need to set prefix of get prefix. If you want to use it, use get prefix wherever you are using it. If you want to set prefix, you should not directly assign. That is the security encapsulation. Here also same. Just copy paste the same, okay? You might get it. Again, whenever you are using it, if you want to use it, you want to mention as get prefix, comma, ICICI dot get IFSC. get IFSC, comma, HDFC dot get prefix. So this is getters and setters for encapsulation. This is very important because in most of the banking application, we have this security. Even in Java also, we use much for encapsulation. Encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism. Here also you can have the same. This is runtime polymorphism, what we'll call, because we have the same, but there is no implementation. But here we have the implementation. For two classes, we have the same input and same function and same return type. But it's calling this one. Why? Because we created object for that only. We created object for HDFC Bank, so it will call only HDFC function. You call ICICI function, so it will call only ICICI function with respect to that, which is attached as a reference, right? What is encapsulation? Sanjana, encapsulation means, so basically protection. Polymorphism is many. Protection. Protection means protecting the variables, data members, and functions, which is member functions, like private, public, unprotected. Private means within that particular class only. Protected means inside that chain. Public means everyone can use. So now you have this class. This class you are using somewhere means extending that. Since it's an abstract class, there is an unimplemented function. You need to implement this. This will call as inheritance. We can access all these features. Along with that, you need to implement this. Then only we can create an object for that. Again, how to call this constructor from the child class using super keyword. Otherwise, you can't call. You got it? So this is the main agenda. Now, apart from this, now we have interfaces. Interfaces is fully abstract class. Export interface. We can see now I have this interface. We can make the bank also an interface. How? We can do like this. Interface bank one. We can have like this. Interface means there is no implementation at all. There is no constructor. Interface, you cannot create objects. It's a fully abstract. For interfaces, it should not be private because interface is not a class. You should not create an object. If you're not able to create object means you're not able to use the properties inside it in that only. Someone will use that. It should be public only. Private will not be acceptable. Okay. Even you no need to put the public. It should be default. Then we can create a function. Which one? This one. Again, setters and you don't need to mention. You don't need to mention abstract also. Again, setters and getters also, we no need to write it. Just put that. We need to implement on our own. Get prefix, set prefix. Set prefix means we need to give prefix and string, right? If you want to implement this, if you want to, interface will be implemented, abstract class will be extended. In Angular, we have lifecycle hooks. Lifecycle hooks also interfaces, so that also will implement. So if you want to use this, it's fully abstract, 100% abstraction. Then export class HDFC Bank 1 implements Bank 1. Now, since it's asked for implement, it should implement all these three. 100% abstraction. Quick fix and implement. So it will get this, and again these three also will get it. It's 100% abstraction. You need to implement everything. You got it right. So that is what interface. So directly you can create like this. You no need to call again super because interface will not have constructor. So all the logics will be here only. You just give the template. Using template, you can edit your resume, right? The same way interfaces will works. You can implement the same logic. So get an IFSC means this dot IFSC. We need to put return here. Otherwise, it will not end. Get prefix means again we need to return this dot prefix. Set prefix means this dot prefix equal to prefix. Since it's a set prefix, it should be void. We don't need to return anything because we're just setting. Just give void. Okay, that's it. So we can implement this. Implement HDFC Bank 1 where obj1 equal to new HDFC. Again put constructor, otherwise it will say you are not assigning any value, madam. So give prefix string as this dot prefix equal to prefix. Give prefix here. Since HDFC. Again, you are not setting any value to IFSC, just give the same. Now you can print this object so that you can get the result. OBJ J1 dot get prefix. So just comment this so we can only use this one as of now. So you got the prefix, right? The same way if you're generating that, you can. So the thing is, interface is fully abstracted. It's nothing but a template. I just have a ready-made template. Using that, you can edit your resume. The same way, using that, you can implement your own logic, everything. Abstract class is partially implemented. It should be extended. Since it's partially implemented, it should be extended that. That is what abstract class. It is having at least one of the function as unimplemented. Interface will have everything as unimplemented so that you can implement in your class. That is why you should not call super constructor because that is an interface. You cannot create object for the interface. Again, try to create where a equal to new bank 1. It will not show bank 1 at least. So it will say as it's a type. It should be a value, right? It's not. Bank 1 is not a class. You should not create it. If you would bank, that is fine, you can get it. But since it's an abstract class, you cannot directly create. Abstract class, you cannot directly create constructor because there is a problem. Why there is a problem? In bank class, there is an unimplemented function. You should implement that first. Then only you can create object. Otherwise, you should not. That is where we are implementing that using extend because that is partially implemented, right? Partially implemented classes will become abstract classes. Fully unimplemented, 100% unimplemented classes will become as interfaces that we can implement using implements keyword. Extend abstract class using extends keyword. So that is the implements extends inheritance. Both are inheritance only, but abstract classes will be extending, interfaces will be implementing. You got it, everyone? So you just need to practice this a lot. I will upload this file. Actually, class 4 and 5 zip files. Previous class also I uploaded. Take this reference and practice this once more time. Tomorrow we'll discuss generics because this practice is more needed for this module. Because since you are first time, right, you will get more errors. So that's why I uploaded the code. So how to do this? This is habituated for me, so I can able to do it easily. But for you, you'll get errors and you need to check this reference. Again, you'll go there. So that's how you practice the whole day. So then you will be habituated with that. Main thing is abstraction, how to implement that. Interfaces, how you can use it. Encapsulation, how you are using it. Implementing the functions in the child classes, how you are accepting. Encapsulation, how you are setting and getting the values using public methods. So that is how you can practice. Today's class also, you cannot create. So today's class I will upload abs.ts, oops.ts in the current module so that you will get easily.